take your video, put your video on. That would be awesome. So we can feel like we're talking to somebody. So we can feel you and see you virtually anyway. It's already tough enough being so many miles away. But we would like to see you on screen. And we're going to be going live on YouTube because, as you may or may not know, our Facebook live stream thing seemed like it broke. So I don't know. Well, welcome. It is the last day of MRU 2020, and I believe it's going to be special. We have some millennial leaders who are trailblazing their own paths of good standing and honor. It's just honorable to just have them here with us. I'm going to mute them because they're doing but it's amazing to have them here with us today, to this evening. If you've had a long day, I understand. So let's just take some deep breaths in and just relax, shake off the day, breathe in, breathe out. Breathing exercises are always good for us. It's good to just bring a tranquil spirit over our minds. But we also need to prepare for this word that's going to go up today. Not that we're preaching or anything, but it's definitely going to be some information, different perspectives. We've been empowered. We've been drawn back to our adolescent stage with Taylor. We even dove into just removing mental blocks like depression and anxiety and dealing with those types of things during this COVID-19 pandemic that is still dragging out right now. And I know it's just like pressure all over. Then we went into our bodies and how we can stay fit and get back committed to the journey of living a healthy lifestyle by what we eat and how active we are. Then we took another turn into our spiritual wellness and understanding, okay, our spirit needs to be alive and well and working because our soul has destiny attached to it. And we cannot forget that we have to think about careers and finances. We want to be successful in all ways that we can be. The Bible talks about it all, so we can't leave it out. This was all about bringing a holistic viewpoint, holistic empowerment and transformation to you all who are watching us, who are letting us in on your heart and having your ear, because that's important. And this is an important task for us to be doing that. And then yesterday, it was some heavy hitters, I tell you that. We talked about relationships and business. We laid the foundation of, we need to understand our own values so that we can discern who is trying to take up space in our life, who's trying to take up our time, because everybody is not deserving. We have to vet our own visions for our life. We can't just be out here like, oh, this is that, and I want this, and don't even have a vetted vision. We haven't vetted the people who are trying to be a part of that vision. We have to understand that it's valuable to know what you want, how you can get it. Those are the action steps to get it. And then tonight, we're going to talk about, let's hear from millennials. They're engaged. They are going after what God has for them. They're pursuing their destiny. They are standing up and making a change in their physical lives, physical fitness lives, and other people's lives, and being entrepreneurs. It's just amazing to have them on stage today, on the virtual stage today. But we have went from A all the way to Z. So tonight is more about, I don't think many people have talked about the upgrade part of Mindset Reset Upgrade 2020. And so I want to do a bit of talking about that. But before I get into that, I'm going to show you guys a couple of ads from our sponsors. I want you to know we are sponsored by Crown Davis Memberships, and he has a great offer for those who are attending. And I'm going to encourage that you take part in that. We also are sponsored by My Calling Therapy Services, and she has also is going to let 2 attendees by whoever wins the gifts from attending all week, get a massage. She's located in Memphis, Tennessee, but hey, we also I haven't introduced this gift, a Groupon gift card as well. So we'll see who gets it. We'll see. And then lastly, but not least, we have It's Only Natural BBH. She has body butters and body oils, and it's only natural. It's only natural. We want to stay in that vein of being healthy and everything. And what we put on our bodies is going to seep into our bodies, and then we're going to be, living that. So we need to make sure we're protecting our bodies at all costs, our minds, our spirits, all of that. You also know, I kind of already stated that we're going live streaming on YouTube. And so at any point, if you have a question, feel free to drop that question in the chat. I'm going to let my speakers have the authority about how they want to answer those questions. I can say them out loud for you to keep you anonymous as far as the questions, but if they are allowing you to come on screen and you feel confident enough, then hey, come on screen and be confident and ask your question. Also, don't forget to share, tag, comment, and like everything Inspired Bosses on YouTube, to Facebook, Instagram, you name it, even on Pinterest. You know, we're on there. So we would like to see you and interact with you also on our social media. We also have a Facebook group, Mindset Reset Upgrade Facebook group. So if you're not in there and you've attended and you've actually been present, I'm going to add you, or you can request to be in there. It should be in the emails that we have been sending out to you all. So it should say something like join MRU 2020 family or something like that. And you'll be able to be inside of that Facebook group. If you don't have Facebook, that's okay. That is okay. You're still going to get the information that you need. We've been talking about I am statements, and I told you guys that I learned the I am statements, well, it was originally called the way of being, from my coaches and mentors, Nick and Brian. But we're using the I am statements because we want to detach ourselves from everything that is going on, what we like to call the busy of life. We want to detach ourselves from that and really understand who we are at the core without, being tied to whatever car we drive, whatever house we live in, whatever type of clothes that we wear, and how many we got, how many of us have this and that and this and that. We want to really understand who we are at the core, at the center. And so I want you to share your I am statement, blow the chat up, tell me your I am statement. You can use 3 words, 5 words, whatever, use what you want to use, but define yourself, because we know whatever follows I am is a description of who you are. And behavior is going to follow that. Thoughts are going to follow that. Your life is going to become that. And so my I am statement is I am a captivating, confident, called visionary. If you've been on here since Monday, you have been hearing me say that all week long. And I kind of got it wrong like for the first 3 days. I was like woman instead of visionary. But hey, we all make mistakes. But I am a confident, captivating, called visionary. So drop yours in the chat. I'd love to share it with everybody and say it over the airwaves so we can speak that into our lives for sure, for sure, for sure. We also have been having about 2 quotes that I've been leading us with, which is one by Creflo Dollar, and he says, fear not condemned. Let me get that right. Fear not condemned contaminates faith. We can't be fearful in this season of going up, increase. We can't be fearful in, probably dismantling some beliefs, deeply rooted beliefs that don't serve us anymore. We can't be scared to go away from the crowd and just reset with our own, with ourselves, with our own thoughts, being original and being independent in our thoughts, and just taking a break from everything that has us attached to some type of schedule or calendar or whatever. So fear not condemn contaminates faith. The other quote that I shared with you all was from Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe, rest in peace, rest in heaven, rest in love to him. He says, you are a concept of destiny, and the earth needs you so bad. That's why God gave you birth. That's why you're here. So pretty much any of you that are joining, I'm pretty sure that you know that you have a destiny to fulfill. And you may not could put your finger on it quite bit, or then you may know exactly what it is and you may have gotten off, or you're ready for that upgrade. So this is where you can find out exactly, what perspectives I might need to shift. What beliefs do I need to dismantle or take on? I see I am dedicated to being fully committed. I love it. I am a strong, faith-filled man of God. I am the solution and the strategy for a better workforce. Now that's different and I love it. You better go, Marquita. That's good. That's really good. All right, you guys. So like I said, I believe that our speakers have taught us in the grand scheme of things how to mindset shift and how to reset and even upgrade our thinking. I think they have. But I want to kind of bring to your attention right now I was doing a little bit of research earlier, and I said, what is the etymology of the word upgrade? So I had to break it down even more, and I had to do up and then grade. And so when I was looking it up, I was like, okay, do I want to do the adjective, the verb, the noun? Like, what point do I want to use? So I guess I would use for all of them. They all kind of give me some hope. And so up, just that word by itself, it means to a higher place. It's a preposition, to a higher place, and that's from the 1500s. Also, it is in the verb tense, to get up, rise to one's feet. I like that, to rise to one's feet. And then to move upward, to go up. And then increase. As you know, like prices increase, they go up, they demand more of you. So I believe that this next season of your life is going to demand more of you, not more of, what you can or can't do, but more of who you are in the inside, like more of your attention to detail, more of your attention to your thought life, more attention to you and your purpose, and really figuring out the steps that it's going to take to fulfill the destiny and the calling on your life. Even with those I am statements, to continue to revert back to that when times get tough, hard, or when you're having a heartache, or you just feeling some pain that you really can't even describe. And sometimes it's okay to not be able to describe what you're going through or what you're feeling, because it could be new. And I think one of the most amazing and remarkable things I've heard, just for wisdom or knowledge in my life, is that you are the only person that is living your life. You are the only person that is living your life. So I can give you as much, we can give you as much as advice if we want to, suggestions or whatever. And that's good, because you can wage your war in the multitude of counselors. But if you cannot be independent of your own thought, I can't live your life for you, and you can't live mine for me. So at the end of the day, you're going to, your life is a result of all of the decisions you made, and you're going to see that outcome from what you've learned and what you've taken action in. So it's always good to remember that I am the only person that gets to live my life. I have my unique DNA, and this increase can look totally different from Kay's increase and from Dominic's increase, or even the mindset shifts that you have to take. It is your life to live. And so then I have to look up the word grade by itself. And it says a degree of measurement. And that's from the French language back in the 1500s and stuff like that. That's Latin, and it says a step, a pace. I like that, a step, a pace. So we have to increase in steps, and I think God is going to pace us for our upgrade. I think he's going to pace us for our increase. I really do believe that. I felt that one. I hope you felt that one too. But it says to walk and to go, to walk, to go. And so you guys, from this, I believe that you'll be able to walk clearly into what you desire and how you can touch other people's lives that are connected to you. I said on day one, I said, you're connected to people that I will probably never get to have a conversation with. So it's great that we can have this time together, spend time together, and just really just focus on ourselves for a little bit. I know sometimes we may do for others, and we might give to others and give our hearts to others, but it's okay to reward yourself with some me time and your own empowerment and your own some transformational action that you can take, so that you can still be fulfilled and still fulfill all of the roles and functions of life that you need to feel. Right? So that's good. That's good. That's good. But here's an even better treat. You can stop listening to me for a while and listen to our next speakers who's going to be gracing the virtual stage. I do want to say, get your pencils and pens out, take some notes. And even if you don't agree, it's okay. Maybe that word is for someone else. You don't have to say, oh, this doesn't apply to me, And I really want you to think about, we can do all of this and get all of this information and whatever, but what are you going to do with the information that you know now? What is the action step? We got all the information, we got the wisdom, we got the knowledge, we got the feel good, we got the inspiration, we got the different point of views, but what is the action step? And you have to come up with that yourself. I mean, I could probably lead you, but I don't know exactly what your destiny is on this earth, but you probably have an inkling of what it is. So I am charging you and challenging you to think about that. Even if this is your first day on here, from what you hear, you can say, okay, what can I do with this information? Because we don't want to get caught up in just, knowing stuff and, whatever, and we don't do anything with it. But without further ado, here is our introduction. Well, let me do this. I'm sorry. Before I introduce them, let's play a couple of videos from our sponsors, and then I'll do my introduction for them, and we'll get going. All right. And you guys make sure that the screen is showing when I do show it, because it'd be tripping sometimes. Do you guys see a black screen? Okay.
Good day, everyone. This is Adrian Davis with Crown Davis Memberships and Momentum University. I am so excited to be a major sponsor for the Mindset, Reset, and Upgrade Conference because I am a big proponent of self-care. I understand with working with thousands of individuals across the United States and across the world how important it is to take care of yourself. You can only affect the world if you're the best version of yourself. So I want you to get the most out of this conference. And as an added benefit, I would like to offer you a special pricing for Unbridled Power. It's the next session that we're going to do, which will change your life. So if you want to make more money than you ever had, accelerate your career quicker than you ever had, or just have more freedom, I invite you to join me for the next session of Unbridled Power. It's somewhere on this link. Take advantage of it because you won't regret it. And one more thing before I let you go. Congratulations on investing in yourself and have an amazing conference.
All right. And one more, and then we'll get to it. One more. This is My Calling Therapy Services.
Hi, this is your girl, Katora, owner of My Calling Therapy Services. I have been a massage therapist for over 12 years, and I'm very, very ecstatic to be one of the sponsors for MRU, Mindset, Reset, and Upgrade by Miss Kayla Johnson. So I am giving away 2 gifts. Yes. 2 gifts. One is a complimentary 30-minute massage of the upper body, consists with hot stone, aromatherapy, and hot towel treatment. Also, the second gift is $20 gift certificate towards any services that is a value of $70. So, can't beat that, huh? So I'm very, very thrilled and ecstatic to be a sponsor. You don't want to miss this phenomenal event by Miss Kayla Johnson. And hope to see you all on day 2. All right? Hope to see you all. And who's going to win these gifts? Who is going to win these gifts? So see you there. I'm out.
All right. So she sponsored session day 2. That's the reason why she said that. But without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Trey Christak is a 23-year-old born and raised in Jackson, Tennessee. He recently graduated from Austin Peay State University in 2019 with a bachelor's degree in communications. Trey is now an entrepreneur. He has his own brand called Christak. He also works as an independent business owner with Total Life Changes, manages a lawn care business, and invests into real estate. Trey is highly driven by his relationship with Jesus, which inspired him to create a ministry called Living Legends. He's busy, you all. He has his hands in a lot of things. Martisha Lewis is a 22-year-old born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. She also graduated from Austin Peay State University with a bachelor's in health and human performance with a concentration in public health. Martisha also works as an independent business owner with Total Life Changes. She is very passionate about helping other women gain self-confidence and make money from their cell phones. Trey and Martisha have a YouTube channel called Tish and Trey, so go subscribe. They view themselves as a progressing couple that's far from perfect. They strive to inspire anyone they come in contact with every day. Their main mission is to help transform this generation's ideas of what healthy relationships and marriages look like. Without further ado, go crazy in the chat and give it up to Martisha Lewis and Trey Christek.
Hey y'all.
Hey,
Thank
how y'all
you.
doing?
How is everyone doing? Thank you for just the opportunity to be able to speak on this platform. I know you want to talk. Go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I am so grateful and I'm so happy. And I truly appreciate when Kayla asked us to be a part of this whole summit. And I just want to shout out and thank all of the speakers that came before us. It truly blessed me. I know it blessed a lot of people. And Kayla, you are so amazing. I admire you, and I'm so thankful for that. And so I'm just so grateful to be here today. And if you're ready, just type ready in the chat and we'll go ahead and get started. And so before we actually get started, I want to ask Kayla, can you time us so we don't go over? We kind of talk a lot.
We get to talk.
And so I first want to start off with this money affirmation that a great mentor of mine kind of implemented into me. Shout out to Rico Smith. He's a great guy. And so, and then he's inspired by Bob Proctor. He was originally that created the affirmation, but we put a kind of a twist to it. So I want everybody to stand up if you can. If not, that's okay. You can keep yourself on mute, but I want you to close your eyes and repeat after me. So whenever you're ready, just type ready and we're gonna get started.
Yeah, like you said, you can keep yourself on mute so you can say it, in your own house. We don't have to hear it, but you can go ahead.
All right. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I am so happy and grateful now that blessings come to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I am so happy and grateful now that love comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I am so happy and grateful now that healthy relationships come to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. All right, we're good. That's good for right now.
Yeah, so we say this affirmation. We try to say it every day. Just to, especially when you're down and you're just feeling like, man, like it's not going well, So make sure you speak affirmations over your life every single day. Another thing I want to say, is that we are not experts, but we have learned a lot just from watching other people's bad relationships or good relationships. We take notes regardless. So I know we always get sometimes like, how they gonna tell me something? I've been living here longer than them, blah, blah, blah. But I really feel like, you can take something from us as well. So go ahead.
And so I just wanted to say, like, when you say those affirmations, it gotta truly be a part of your spirit. You gotta feel it. You gotta say it with confidence. It gotta be something that you believe. Yeah. You can't just, say it just so lackadaisically and just nonchalant. You gotta say it and feel it. And so, and it's truly just transformed my life. It transformed my mindset. And I am just so excited that, because like she said, just piggybacking off of what she said, that you can learn and be a student from anyone. No matter the age, no matter if they're older, younger, like I'm always a student. I'm always learning. I'm always grateful that someone is coming and speaking value and speaking life into me. So
honestly, I feel like I learned the most from little kids because they're just so honest. Like they're telling you the truth that another grown person wouldn't tell you. So you can learn from anyone.
And then also one more thing too, somewhere in the Bible, I'm not sure where it at, but they was asking Jesus, who is the greatest in the kingdom? And then he brought forth a child. And they were saying, if you have the same heart as this child, some along those lines, and that really just impacted me, just to look at it in a different perspective. So,
but yeah, first we want to start off just asking everyone just to see who our crowd is, just to comment if you are single, in a relationship, or married. We want to know. You can send it at any time, but we just want to know. So you can go ahead, just give them a little background about you, fast.
Okay. So I'm gonna just tell you just a little glimpse of my testimony, because I also have my testimony. It's on our YouTube channel. You can go check it out. Yeah. But around 2019, the summer of 2019, I was going through a really, really tough time. I was going through a really bad patch in my life, and a lot of people would say, "Dang, you are young. You're 23, but how can you like deal with something like that?" Like, no matter the age, you have different traumas and different situations that you go through. And a lot of the times we don't know how to cope and to deal with those type of situations. So we do anything, whether it's do drugs, whether it's smoke weed, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sex, watch pornography, all the whole nine. People find other things to cope and to try to figure out how to fill this hole in their heart that's only a God-shaped hole. And so what I started to realize was all my life, I grew up in the church, and as I started to grow and get older, once I graduated from high school and went off to college, that kind of, I'm not gonna say I left my religion, but I started to sweat, and a lot of times you see that whenever somebody leaves off and go into their own path in life. So I started to sway, and I was doing all of those things that I just listed. I was doing all of those things, and so something hit me, and I just know it. I felt it. Something hit me to where I was at my lowest. I lost my car. I was about to lose my job. I was on the verge of losing school. Like, it was a bad part of my life. So that's when I realized, you know what, it's time for me to get my spiritual health back. Mm-hmm. And I focused on my physical health. Mm-hmm. And that's when things started to change in my life. I started to overdose on self-development books. I started to overdose on motivational videos. I started to overdose, most importantly, on the Bible, on the word. And a lot of people don't realize, because they just take parts and scriptures out. But when you understand and start to read the Bible in full, you start to gain more wisdom and knowledge. And that's what started to happen. And I started to realize that the book was living with me as I was going and living in my life. Things in the Bible was starting to relate. It was starting to click. And even when you read the Bible full out, it's still stuff that you can go back and learn. So life is always just a learning experience. And so I'm just so grateful, and I'm here today just to be a progressing man, but not a perfect man, and just to try the best I can to read, to overdose on the word, and to truly follow God's his voice. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, when I met him, like, he was in a low space. He said he felt lonely, so he bought a dog, and of course that didn't feel him, because only God can do that. And even when I came in, I couldn't feel the void and the hole and everything that he was dealing with. So yes, just to see him transform in such a short amount of time, y'all, it's possible. I know we have older people on here, so if you have children and you're like, they don't look like they're going down the right path, they can change, they can transform, they can, because it happened. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So we're just gonna drop a few nuggets. So first,
we just got 3 nuggets, y'all. So we're gonna make this quick.
Three. Okay, so for relationship wise, we would say to always put God first. Make sure your spiritual relationship is good individually and together. Like, I know what we started to incorporate, we read the Bible together and we would pray together, and just make sure that we're focusing on God and making sure he's always the center. So what do you have to say on that? Because we started doing this together, and then you also do the thing where you go to the lake and just praise him and just talk about it.
So like I said, as I started to get on my spiritual journey, more things started to open up for me. And I started to surround myself. That was one of the things. I cut out things that wasn't helping me, that wasn't speaking life into me. The music that wasn't speaking life into me, I started to cut those things out. I started to cut out people that wasn't just as good for me or just taken away. I started to just surround myself with positive things. So I cut out music that I was listening to because that directly reflects the things that you think about. I started to change what I was seeing. Social media is a big part in the millennials' life right now. And so that has a direct effect. Like a lot of people don't know because they don't think about it, but it does affect you. And so it just dramatically changed my life. But back to the topic of my spiritual relationship, I got a friend of mine when I lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and he introduced me to truly getting to the point to praise God. He introduced me to praising God, to thanking God, to being grateful and talking to him. And I truly credit him for that because it did something to my spiritual life. It did something to my praise. Now I'm praising when I'm going through a situation, when I come out of the situation, when I'm in the middle of the situation. Like no matter, you just be grateful and you praise him all the way through the situation. And I promise you, it always work out for your good. So
okay, and exactly, like you gotta let them know so they can know what to do as well. So what he would do, now we don't really have a lake, so we just go into the closet and just play music, play worship music, and
find
just
find your silence, find your peace.
Your place of quiet time with God, just praising him, listening to music, praying together, and just that's our worship time. So you guys should incorporate that as well. It just feels like when you come out, you just feel like you just released so much. Yes. So yeah, and we also know when two or more people come together in his name, you know that he's in the middle of it. So that's why we keep him in the middle of our relationship.
Especially in the midst of this time where a lot of people felt like, with the coronavirus, with COVID-19, it cut out for us to be able to gather. But now we have technology. We still able to gather, and we have to realize that we are the church. The building, not necessarily, it's great. We supposed to meet, but the building is not necessarily the church. It's us. It's the people inside the church. And even though we can't be together physically, we can still be together spiritually, and we can still pray for each other and come into the presence with God. Like, I just love it. Go ahead.
So the next for us, so we're speaking on like relationships and also getting to the bag. So right now we're on the relationship topic. So the next thing for us is communication. So when we first got together, I wasn't great at communicating my feelings and how I felt. So I would always just shut down. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just forget it and just move on. But with him, he loves to talk. And he's like, no, we gotta handle this right now. We're not going on another day. We gotta handle the problem. He always wants to solve, always wants to have a solution. And I'm like, I just want to be to myself. Just stop talking to me. So now, as we've been together, I've learned how to express how I feel to him. At that moment, because usually I would act like I didn't want to talk, and then the next day I'll come back and I'm like, okay, we can talk about it now. He was like, we could have just talked about it. Like the problem wasn't even that big, but you just drew it on. So make sure that if you have a person that's ready to talk about it, just go ahead and talk about it. And then he always says, like, this just gets to me. Like,
can somebody just drop communicate in the chat for me? Drop
communication or
communicate.
Okay, communicate. So what always gets to me is he says, like, you never know if this is our last time seeing each other, last time talking to each other. You don't want that to be our last moment together. So we make sure, if we have any issues, we go ahead and solve them, because we don't know when will be our last time together. So yeah, that's what I like about you. Do you have anything about communication since you majored in that?
Yes, communication is important. A lot of people, the chat going crazy with communicate. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, a lot of people fail to communicate. A lot of people fail to truly share their thoughts and how they feel and their opinions. And it's hard for them to get an understanding. And a lot of people, some people just shut out and don't even say nothing. But you got to realize that your partner can't read minds. And if somebody can, please let me know so I can talk to that person. But we're not mind readers. The only way that we can truly work out our problems and solutions is to sit down and talk about it. And it's a lot of conflict that happens in a relationship. And it's just like, I see in a lot of relationships where the man will go here, the woman will go here, and you never work out the problem. It's like everybody you kind of just try to walk past it. Like, it's okay to take time to separate, but whenever y'all come back together, that problem has to be worked out.
Yes. Another thing, we always try to remain transparent with each other, telling each other everything, no matter if it may hurt them at the moment, just knowing that it's coming out of love and not just, being there to talk negative on them. So,
and also if you do have questions, we love to make it conversational, so it's not just us speaking. So if you have questions, Kayla, you can delegate, who has a question, that way we can pause. So
questions or advice, y'all, because we're open to advice. We can learn from you. I'm 22, he's 23. Of course, we're always willing to learn. So the next topic we're gonna say is sex, and so for us, we are sexually abstinent until we get married. So a lot of people ask, like, how do y'all do that? And y'all live together, like, how do y'all do that? So it's just about placing those boundaries up, always remembering the bigger goal, remembering God first, remembering that, you're gonna have the rest of your life to do that. Yeah. Like after we get married, like you have the rest of your life to do that. And I feel like when you bring sex into relationships, it complicates things. Like, with soul ties, I know y'all have heard of them. Just all these emotional baggage from somebody else. It's too much. Like, sex is supposed to be sacred and just supposed to be one-time thing with your spouse. But everybody messes up. We're not perfect. But what do you have to say on this topic? Because you've told your testimony on how you really battled with that in college, and just what do you have to say?
First off, I just want to give all credit to Transformation Church. We started watching Transformation Church on YouTube, which completely changed my life. We watched the series Relationship Goals, the first series Relationship Goals together. And the pastor over that church is Pastor Mike Todd. He also has a book called Relationship Goals that we finished reading now. And I absolutely love Pastor Mike. He's transparent. He's real. He's, I say, a part of this time and this era, and also helps with all areas of your life. And so once I started watching that, I learned that sex is supposed to be, it's a covenant. It's a container. You're supposed to put sex in a container, and that container is marriage. Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand. I didn't even know what a soul tie was until he told me what it was. And then I went and researched it, and it was just like, wow, when I have sex with this person and this person and this person, I am basically marrying them.
Every time.
According to God's his word. According to his word, I'm becoming one. I'm joining with her. I'm joining with her. And that's what was happening. From high school to college, throughout college, like I was joining with so many different people. And I know that's my testimony. That's what needs to be released, because people don't do this. They don't tell you the real. They don't tell you the real. And I'm telling you, young man, young lady, that you have to make a decision today to take yourself back. Put sex back into the container where it's supposed to be. And society has tricked us to believe, like, when you look at music and movies and all these things, sex is like a fun, it's secretive, it's chasing, it's in the dark, it's in the covers. But in marriage, that's when it's supposed to happen. And that's why we see all of these baby mama, baby daddy drama, all of this. And it's sad to see, because that child grows up not seeing a healthy relationship. And so, and it directly reflects from the moment that you make the decision to have sex. It's mind blowing. Yeah. But yeah, if you just drop covenant in the chat right now. Drop covenant in the chat right now. If we speaking facts. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people need to hear, you know, especially in this time and in this society that we living in.
Yeah. So also, of course, we're human, and all of us have those feelings. And we also, people feel like sex is bad, or people, Christians try to make sex bad. But God, for God, to God, sex is good in the container of marriage. So yes, it's bad to do it of course, but of course people slip up. That's where you get repentance and all of that. But sex is good to God when it's in marriage. Also for us, we're human. Like I said, if we have those feelings, it's like time to pray, time to flee from sexual immorality.
Yes.
So we won't even fall, y'all. So
yes.
if you feel like, I feel like God, I think it says in the Bible as well, God always gives you a way out.
Yes.
So before you're about to commit that sin or whatever, he's going to give you some type of way to get out, y'all.
Speak, Pastor Tish. Yes.
He's going to give you a way to get out. So make sure you flee from sexual immorality.
Yes.
You have those feelings, y'all. Just pray. I promise, just pray. Get your mind off of it, and you'll be good.
It reminds me of the story of Joseph. It's Joseph. Right?
Yes.
Story of Joseph. He came in contact with this lady. I forgot if she was like the king's wife. Yeah. And she he fled. She was trying to have sex with him, and he ran out. Left his sweater, and then they ended up since his sweater was there, they ended up locking him up. She
tried to rape him or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a whole story to it.
Yes.
But another component that we have is trust. So we would say trust yourself and also trust your spouse. We know a lot of people that they feel like they gotta go through people's phones and just it's too much. If you feel like you have to do that, just leave the person alone. Just trusting that the person is doing what they're saying they're doing, trusting that they're actually in the relationship. I continue. Oh, sorry. That they're in the relationship to be with you and not anyone else. And I feel like that has something to do with like self-esteem or maybe past issues. But yeah, trust? What do you feel?
So trust is something that needs to be built within your relationship. And when that trust is broken, we got to open the door for forgiveness. I know I can speak my testimony. So whenever we was early on in our relationship, I broke that trust with Tish, but it was when I wasn't in, I wasn't in, what am I trying to say? I wasn't in alignment with God. And so I broke that trust and I went and went with this with this girl. And so when I came back to Tish, she found out everything. Like God revealed everything
you didn't
to
even,
her.
He didn't even tell me.
She found out, and it was crazy. And that night, she basically ended it, and it left me heartbroken. That's when I realized, like, nah, I can't be doing these things because she is my rib. I realized that she is my rib. She is my support system, and I can't. That feeling of it ending was dramatic to me, and it crushed me. And I know it crushed her when she found out everything. And so that was the step that also transitioned my life into where I am today.
So okay, clarify that. So with you going to the girl or whatever, clarify that. Y'all didn't have sex, right?
No.
They didn't have sex because it would have been over for me. I gave him a second chance only because he just went over there and lied to me where he was.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave you a second chance.
Yes.
So
but I also had to come clean and be transparent as well that I did have it on my mind.
Yeah.
But it never processed. But that's the thing. Like even when you have it on your mind, that's also a sin. You already committed it in your mind. So we have to come back. We have to repent. We have to ask for forgiveness, not only from yourselves, but also from God. And so I'm just so grateful. I feel like a lot of things happen in our life in order to push us to our next level in life. So
yeah. So women, I'll also say, don't settle for less. Don't stay in a relationship because y'all not married. Y'all don't have to be together. Even in the Bible, it says, infidelity is a reason for divorce. So I wasn't staying with him. I don't care. I don't care about being single. That's me. So make sure you know who you are. Don't accept anything mediocre. We don't do that. So the last two. Huh?
There's a question in the chat. Can I read it out?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool beans. It says, question, why is sex such a difficult conversation in the Black family? Because I really think you all, like, even talking about this taboo subject has been great, because that is one of those things that it deceives us. We don't really want to talk about it in the church, but it's happening. Right. It's how we here now. You know what I'm saying? So just reiterate that question again. Why is sex such a difficult conversation in the Black family?
I also agree with that. Even being in church, we were never told the reason why. We were just told don't have sex before marriage. And for a lot of kids and people growing up, it's just like, you're curious. Like, why didn't tell me not to do it? Why not? I'm open to do it. I have free will. God gives me free will. Why can't I just go out here and do it? So that's a good question about why is it a taboo? I'm trying to see.
I can say I think it's a taboo because the people that came before us that was taught that about sex, and or maybe they weren't taught about sex at all, and so that reflected and trickled down all the way until the generation, and it just got passed down generation from generation, and we never got taught the truth about sex. We never understood, most likely,
because my mama, she talked to me about sex, but it was just you don't need to do it because you don't need to get pregnant. So I'm like, okay, like, what if I don't get pregnant? Like, so it's just like, it's always these questions. And that's really a good question because I really want to know that as well. It's just, I guess people feel uncomfortable. And a lot of parents, they feel so uncomfortable that they never talk to their children, or they talk to them when it's too late. Like, kids are being introduced to this when they have a phone, they're being introduced to this.
That's what we need to understand. Like, and now with it's so easy. Social media is seen. It's everywhere. It's in cartoons. And so we have to realize, I think a lot of parents and a lot of people don't want to, they feel like if they talk about it, it might open up them to it. You know, it may make them even more curious. But I feel like if you talk about it in the covenant,
talk about soul ties.
Talk about soul ties with it. Like we explained to her younger sister about soul ties. That way she understood that, like, okay, if I do this, it's going to create a soul tie. It's going to create an attachment. It's going to create feelings for that person.
Yeah. And you know what I said, you guys? Just to chime in, I was talking to our students right before our camp had ended. And we talked about sex. And like you guys said, it can make you feel weird. Like, oh, we talking about sex, you know, because it's a pleasurable thing. But the thing is, a chemical is released when we do things that we like. You know what I'm saying? When we have fun, we want to continue to have fun because it's releasing that chemical, that dopamine. So that sex is a pleasurable feeling, so it releases that chemical of feeling like yes. But also, just even when, you know, talking about Michael Todd, I don't watch him as much because I'm on some other people, but, you know, you can put a condom on, you can put whatever contraceptive you want to put on, but there is no contraceptive or condom for your heart. Like, literally, you know, your heart is open. You know, it's like it's a what I want to say, a organ that is pumping always, but it's even deeper than that. It's something that vibrates. It has its frequency, and you can't really protect that unless you're intentionally staying away and abstaining like you all are doing. And like you guys said too, with the social media, would you rather social media teach your children and music teach your children, or would you rather?
Or kids at school, like
the problem I have with school is like they want to say safe sex, to put a condom on. Like, it's no condom for the heart, but they want to preach safe sex. Like, I don't think that is right, and that's not okay. You know, especially in this society where it's changing fast. Now they saying you can do it. You can do it with other men and other women together now, and then, you know, it starts to trickle down, like Pastor Mike said. Then people don't get fulfilled; they want to keep going. So now people start doing it with animals and all this different stuff. Like, it's getting to a thing. It's getting too crazy to where we got to take control and educate our children early on, because society and the world now is so fast. It's picking up and it's getting faster. They learning stuff at an early age. So
another thing, the last thing on relationships we would say is physical health. And it's interesting because this was just a topic the other day, but we really feel like physical health, even doing it together, it's super important. We know so many people that are dying from just diabetes and all of these things, and they are married. So it's just like, when your spouse you lose your spouse to something like that, it's like, wow, like and it's not physical, also physical health, but what is it like? Proper eating, proper nutrition, that as well. So we make sure that we work out. He does his own workouts. We sometimes do them together, but he does his own workouts. I do my own. We make sure we're eating healthy. Of course, we have our cheat days, but we're also detoxing our body always with our products. But yes, physical health is a good one.
And see, I want to say that we have to unlearn a lot of things that we've learned. We grew up thinking that, all of these things that's good for us. And then it comes back to be like, that's not really what's good for us.
It tastes good, but
it tastes great, yes, but it's not good. Like meat, for example, what else? Milk,
bread, everything.
Like all of these things is causing inflammation, it's causing things in your body to go wrong. And the sad part is we don't see the inside. So on the outside, it may look good, it may look like you're doing okay, but it's how's the inside? Like we need a detox, not only mentally from the inside, but also physically on the inside. So
yes. So now we're going to talk about getting to the bag together, the entrepreneurial side. So first, I want to say, as an entrepreneur, it can kind of your schedule can be crazy. So if you have a partner and it's just like, wow, like they don't have time for me, I don't have time for them. I feel like when you don't have time for each other, you have to be intentional about your time. Make sure you like put something on your calendar, something like spend time with them. Make sure you do this, make sure you do that, just so they can feel like you still want them, you're still with them. So for us, I just know, like I'm patient. I understand that he's gonna have to be on the phone sometimes. I'm gonna have to do this sometimes. So it's just about being patient and just understanding.
Somebody drop patience in the chat. Drop patience. That's a big thing right there. We've been working on patience
for me. Working on patience for me. But yeah, you just have to be understanding as far like when they're trying to go towards this goal. You have to be understanding that they may not be able to spend 24 hours a day with you, but just being there and understanding what they're going through.
I just want to speak on too. What I really liked about Tish is when we met and came in together, she had her own side of like entrepreneurship and everything, and I started to grow in mine and started to be more bold because what I realized is as I was growing up, like I was very, very bold, but I also was like what's it called?
Laid back, shy.
Yeah, what's
reserved. What are you looking for?
Inner Anyway, I was just reserved and I didn't bring out my personality. And
Introvert.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. And so I was an introvert, and I couldn't. But I was an introvert, but I would do bold things.
Yeah,
I would just do big bold things that would take me. I think what it was preparing me for my next level. It kept on preparing. I kept doing things that was just out of my and I didn't care if I failed or not. And so that's also how you have to look at entrepreneurship. Like you're gonna get into this, and then sometimes it don't go as planned.
Yeah.
You thought it was gonna blow up, but then you failed. And a lot of people stop there at failure. But we got to start learning that failure is good, because school teach us that failure is bad. Yeah. Well, it's just so backwards. But when I started failing, I just kept going. Then I would fail at the next thing. I kept going. Then you have to learn. Like in college, I started doing. I had a snack business. I'm still moving with my t-shirt business. Like it was just different things that I failed at. Mm-hmm. But it was one night where my snack business just like blew up. It was like people was coming. I had football players coming to get my snacks, and I was cooking rotel and all of these different things.
The bad food.
The bad food.
We were selling all the bad food.
Right.
We helping people gain the 15 and the 20. I'm just like,
see, it's like in a certain point in your life, you have to learn. It was like, how can we be serving people this?
Promoting health.
But then we doing this. So we had to change our whole thing, and that's why that stopped. And so about entrepreneurship is basically having faith. And Tish, she was big on having faith in the beginning. Yeah. But then we would get to a very rough point in the middle. And then it was one day where she was just like super down, and I was like, Tish, we gotta have faith. Not only you have a lot of faith in the beginning, but then when we get to the middle and it get rocky, you start to get impatient, or you start to get upset. And I'm just like, you gotta have faith when we going through it. Yeah. And then we see the breakthrough in the end. Yeah. But
I'm working on that.
Yes, it's being patient. Patience is a big thing for us. And where was I going with that? Go ahead.
I don't know, but I was gonna say when we first met, you weren't really on the entrepreneurial side. You were more basically working. Like that's all you knew from being passed down from parents and all of that. Like, go to work, go to school, go to work. There's no discussion for nothing else. Go to work. It don't matter. You need to go do something. And I'm just like, that's just limited beliefs. And I have bigger goals and bigger dreams. Of course, it's fine to work. I work now, but I know that I'm working to build up my money, to do something bigger, to become my own boss. So of course I'm still doing it on the side, but just like being open to
other possibilities, other opportunities,
and also working on your but another thing, people are not quick to be entrepreneurs and jump out on faith and step out on faith, is because they're so used to that, that money coming in, the security, job security, the financial security. Like, okay, I got bills to pay. I need that security. I need them checks. I know if I go to work these days, I'm gonna get that check Friday.
Amount of money.
And it's that job security. So,
and see the difference between and it's no shade at all. A lot of people kind of take what we're saying and don't truly listen, because a 9 to 5, you just got a base pay. You make this much. But when you become an entrepreneur or get into sales, you might have your low days, but then you have big peaks, and it's no limit to the amount of money you can make. Yeah. And so once I started to see that and understand that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do all I can to get out here independent on my own and push my things that I need. But it takes mental, it takes a lot of faith, it takes trust in the process and all of these different things. And when Tish came in, I realized that I had somebody that supported me. I had somebody that supported my dreams, that supported the things I needed, and told me the things that I needed at the right time when I was feeling down. And that was the difference in our relationship. When I was feeling down, she would speak something to me that would rise up. And when she was feeling down, I would come in and rise up. It was like we was just like tit for tat. It was and it molded well. That's when I knew that God brought somebody to me straight from heaven. An angel just came right in my doorstep. So
so another thing, like you said, I wrote down to support each other's ideas, and also don't put your doubts on them. So, some people have doubts that they don't believe things can happen for them, or they can do certain things. But so if another person comes to you and like, well, I want to be...
Somebody drop no doubts in the chat. No doubts, no doubts.
So if he comes to me, like, he has these big ideas that'll blow anybody's mind, and I'm just like, okay, I believe you can do it. But if I was another type of person, it would be like, I don't know. I don't think you should do that. I don't know if you're gonna be successful in that. I never put him down. I never put any doubts that I may have in my mind on him. So I see like a lot of people doing that. Like, just because you believe it can't happen for you, don't put your doubts on somebody else. And we get that a lot from friends, well, not friends, but people our age, just from older people. It's just like, why y'all got some big goals?
We can be real and say family. Like, and we got to realize that it's not necessarily them. It's not the flesh and blood. It's the spirit. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's not necessarily them. It's the spirit that's within them. Maybe they have some self-doubt or some things that they went through that they can't see it happening. Yeah. But God didn't give the vision to them. He gave it to you. So you need to do all you can and push and truly believe and change your mindset. A lot of people be having these tired mindsets, y'all. We got to change these tired mindsets. My thing is, if you love what you do, if you go to work, you love what you do, great. But if you go to work, you dread going there every single day, that's most likely not what God has for you. Yeah. God has abundance for you. He has something that's gonna take you to your next level. He has something that where you gonna receive harvest. And a lot of people just be okay with being just a regular, with being just the average. But we have to reset. I'm so glad she titled this that, because in the midst of this time, it forced us to realize in this, COVID-19 and all of this recession and everything that's going on, it forced us to be like, wow, we can really, because I lost my job.
Jobs are not secure. You see people see that. Jobs are not secure.
Like a lot of people think. And so they can just drop you like that, or something like this can happen that nobody, seen coming. Who would have thought in the year of 2020 that's related to vision would be just complete chaos. And it's just like, wow, this is the moment where we have to truly trust God in the midst of our process. Go ahead.
We have a participant who wants to ask you all a question. He's gonna come on.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Kudos to y'all because y'all are a godly couple who is in the same home together, and you are being abstinent. Love to see this. Always a blessing. Earlier, you welcome. Earlier, you talked about being in a grind or a hustler mentality, always going and getting the bag. My guy, I've like just like you, I've always grown up to be in that hustle mentality. Like if I haven't had a day where I'm making money, I don't feel right. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I've always been in that type of grind mentality where, okay, what can I do today? Can I cut some grass? Can I do some bathrooms? Can I wash some cars? So it's always like, bro, I gotta make some money. Yes. But my question is, as I'm growing more with God, I'm realizing that God is a God of provision. I mean, 1,000 cattle on 1,000 hills. Why am I grinding like this? Has there ever been a time where you had to be like, where God has to sit you down? You have to be like, okay, God, I know I can easily go out here and get it myself, but you don't want to get to glory, and He'd be like, okay, hey, I had this for you, but since you wouldn't sit down and let me do all the work, here's what you got. Has there ever been a time where you had to be like, okay, God, I can go ahead and do it myself, but you know what? I'm gonna allow you to do it. What did that look like for y'all? Has there ever been a time that y'all had to do that y'all had to fully rely on God for y'all provision?
College.
That's a great question. I appreciate
that's such a great question. So college, a lot of people don't even know. Like we were the type, like we want to get it on our own. We don't want to have to ask other people to borrow stuff like that. And in college, it's just like, you're not making that much money. Like, so we went like literally, like y'all. We would like, of course, try to get it out there and go do whatever you can, get the money or whatever. But he sat us down a few times. Like there were times where we were like, what are we gonna eat tonight? So we would usually like scrape up as much as we could, share cookout trays. Like he would take the burger. First of all, he eats more than me. He would take most of the food. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to eat? So like we would have to split cookout trays, y'all. Yes. Like during that time, like how are we gonna pay the rent? And then we were staying in two separate, like he had his own place, I had my own place. And I'm like, how am I gonna pay the rent this month? Like God really came through and provided. Yes. Like, because I always know too, like I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be to my last. So I always try to get out there. It's me and him as well. So I always try to be like, how can I do this? How can I do that? How can I do that? But man, there were times where it's just like, we had to trust him fully. Like, it's like, we gonna either be out on the street, like somebody said question. But yeah, it's like we're gonna either be out on the street, we're gonna be hungry, like we have to fully trust. And what is that? Is it Matthew 6:33? 31 through 34. He said in the word, don't worry about what you're gonna eat or what you're gonna drink. Those who what shall you wear? Those who don't know God, think about those things and ask for those things. But seek the kingdom of God first, and all these things will be given.
Somebody say seek. Somebody drop seek in the chat.
Yeah, so that's those Matthew 6:31 through 34. That has really been a big one for us. It's just like when we like, what are we during that time in college? We're like, what are we gonna eat? Like, what are we gonna drink? What are we gonna? And it's like those who don't know God, ask these things. He always provides every time. So.
We was watching something, and was it the last sermon? I don't know, but it was Transformation Church, and it was saying basically you asking the wrong questions.
We asking the wrong questions.
And so it was just like based off my answer to your question. Yes, in college it was times where it was like, okay, should I work? But I got school, and it was just like I was just on a constant battle of I don't want to work because I got school and I got classes and I got 11:59. Assignments due at 11:59. If you're a college student and you know that struggle, that's a big struggle. And I missed a lot of 11:59s, and it was just like mind blown. And so
missed a lot of 8 a.m.
Yes.
Look, don't feel bad at all. You're not the only one.
no 8 o'clock classes for me. And I had started working like early in the morning at the YMCA. And I worked with kids. And the bad thing about it, I would be late because I would be up all night trying to get this paper done and get this test done. So I'll wake up early or couldn't wake up early and I'll be late. I have to call them. But it was a lot of times where it was just I had to allow God to take the wheel because, like I said, we was down to our last dollar. And I'm the type of person when somebody asks me for money, I'ma just give it because I'm just willing to just give because maybe you need it and maybe my blessing is in me giving to you.
Yeah.
But
so definitely. Oh,
I think somebody had a question.
Sorry.
Yeah. Real quick before her question, I'm gonna let her come on screen. But I would like to say, even for me, I've experienced that. But what I did for myself, because last year, if you knew me last year in 2019, honey, when I was doing network marketing heavily, and I was doing Amway. Oh my gosh. It was a point in my life where like you could almost say I was idolizing the grind. And that was like more priority for me. And I was sitting there almost on the throne of my heart. And I was trying to ask God to make it, make it right. And I was fasting and everything like that. And I had tapped into a higher level frequency of me. So I'll glory to God for, me being able to see how far and how deep I can go into him. The reason why I am the way I am now, I was intentionally healing. I was intentionally taking a break, but I also was putting that grind mentality over God. And God, he graced me to go through it. I'm not gonna lie. He graced me to go through it. But he did, y'all, it was a time about like October, November, because I had to bring girls in for the sorority and all that. And it was like God just literally start to clear my schedule. Like people calling me, canceling schedules and canceling appointments. I'm like, okay, you definitely telling me to get some rest. Like you're definitely, and then that was going into 2020. And who knew 2020 was gonna be the year that I burst, not just conceived, because I had already conceived his vision for my life and things that tried to come and take that away from me. And I can go so far with that, but going into 2020, I needed that rest to do what I'm doing now. And now
somebody
even
drop rest in the chat.
Even now in mindset reset upgrade, I don't care what season of life it is for you, what time it is in the constraints of time of man, what year is on the calendar. God will do what he needs you to do, and he might even force that will upon you if you're not gonna listen. But he can grace you to go through it. But I can tell you right now, do not idolize the grind. Do not.
That's so true. Because
about you working.
That's about that's my thing. That was me. Like I could feel myself starting to
she was working like
I was overdoing it. Like I was really just chasing the money, and I'm like, this. Like I could see my relationship with God going down. Like I'm like, this is not right. I gotta let stuff go. Like y'all, that idolizing the grind. That was me. I definitely can relate to that. But yeah, whew. What? Oh,
I do have a question for you guys, Tish and Trey. Trey, I'm curious to know who your people are. I am actually a Tennessean. I just moved to Connecticut, migrated this way about a year and a half ago. Met Kayla. She was one of my former Miss Black Gibson County queens. So I've known her since birth. But you guys are talking about the money and chasing it and, making sure you make the money. That's the mentality I think that all of our parents have instilled in us, especially the Black male, whether there was a mom doing that or a father doing that. The pandemic has forced us to save money, whether by choice or by force. So I guess my question to you guys as a young couple, and contrary to what you might think, I am 51. I am the oldest one on this call, I'm sure. But contrary to what you think.
Young.
Oh, thank you. Now, talk to me a little bit about how do you make young people your age understand that if you don't work, you don't eat. But you got to be able to be the ant and store up. You got to save money. So often they are out there, they're making all this money, and then they have this riotous living. And then, like one of my nephews, but you give him $20, it goes straight through. I mean, you give him money, he spends it. You give him $100 for Christmas, the next day he needs gas money. I can't get them to understand that, you get the money, you make, you have money. How do you get them to save a 10? How do you get them to understand that when you become my age, that you've got to not be a paycheck away from homelessness? And so when you're making the money, your age, where is it going? Why are you continuously chasing the grind if you're not going to help yourself? So that's my question.
That's such a good question. I feel like you were talking about me because
thank you for that question.
That was me. Like, and I feel like my parents, I get money, they'll send me money in college. Like they would send me money in college. Like a lot of people didn't get, their parents didn't send them money.
Or when we think about the refund checks.
Or we got refund checks. Oh my. So yes, I definitely agree with that. Me, I would always just spend it. And I still struggle with that right now. But he's helping me with that as well. But I feel like people don't.
I'm basically the accountant.
He's the accountant.
In the relationship. So I'm like
he's the accountant.
Moving the money in different places.
But for me, I think I did that because I knew that I had somebody to help me. Like I knew that if I ran out, my mama gonna send me some money anyway. So it's just like I wasn't truly out there on my own. So I'm like, well, I mean, it's just money. I can get it back from them. I can get it back whenever. But that was my mindset. And it's because when I grew up, as I was growing up, my parents are always, if I run out, it's just, I know that I have somebody to help me. I'm never going to be broke. I'm never going to be out on the street. And I think that's probably why like, a lot of young people, they don't understand that is because they always have somebody to come to their rescue. It's like, my mom gonna get me out, my daddy gonna get me out of this situation, whatever. But for you,
it's always a fallback.
But for you, growing up was different. Yeah. You didn't just get money like that. In college, your parents, you got money, but it wasn't a dish out every time you needed type of thing.
You would have so I had to go get it.
Yeah.
But the thing that about to your question is more so also saving. And what we do, we also do our 10%, so tithe 10% and give, because we understand when you do that first, God gonna bless the rest of the money that you have.
Yes.
And so one thing that I started doing, if you haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad, you need to go get that book because it teaches it teaches you different things. Old people too.
I'm saying she was talking about like why the young people need to read this book too.
They need to read this book. Because it teaches you not only just saving your money, but to invest your money into different places that will help it grow. See, a lot of us, especially in the Black community, we were never taught to invest and put your money in things that to help the money continue to keep coming. We would just think like we're gonna put our money in just over here and it just pile up. Like, no, we need money that's just keep coming, keep coming in and having a flow. And having multiple. And another person, who was it? Warren Buffett. I was listening to Warren Buffett, and he was saying that he would start up what's his name was saying? I forgot his name. That asked the question. Dominique. I think. I just lost my thought. But yes, okay, yes, having different ways to make money. So like I got the lawn care business, right? That builds up for itself. We got YouTube. Eventually we're trying to make money from YouTube. And then we also, it's just creating different revenues, no matter if you making $10 over here or making 20 over here. But guess what? Each of those build up, no matter if it's big or small. And when you have multiple streams, building multiple streams of income, getting your money in 6 different ways, that's what creates wealth. A lot of people just do one and just work a job.
Exactly. So when you run out from one source, it's like
you don't have.
I need some more money. Yeah. I do. I like that.
Building multiple streams, putting them in different places.
We have a question on Facebook as well.
Okay.
Before we get to this question on Facebook, I want to say to that. I think it's really about, is the heart and mind ready? Just like when we're talking about sex, physically, we feel so ready. We feel so ready for sex because our bodies are mature physically. But mentally, emotionally, you don't know what you're about to step into. So when it comes to money, we, like they said, have not been taught at a young age to define the value of money and not just the power of spending it. And a lot of times in the Black community, it's like a fashion show. It's in the music and the celebrities, they all wearing the nice designer. They always talking about designer this and go fly here and fly there. And when you couldn't fly nowhere in 2020, you was like, well, what I'm going to do? Because I thought 2020 I was catching flights all year, but It's all about the music that they're listening to, like they said earlier. It's about who they trying to impress. And when you become unpretentious, you're like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. So I think it's really a lack of understanding the power and the value of what money can create and how you can strategize a life that reflects the values that you have. And so when you just living, today my values is family, but tomorrow I'm valuing girls every day if I'm a dude. Or tomorrow I value, getting me some new pants and looking nice to everybody, but tomorrow, the next day I value whatever. I'm eating all the time, whatever it is. When your values continue to like just go with the flow, then it's just everywhere. I think
that's so true. That's so true.
Maybe just I don't know, like they said, when you got something to lean, when you're back against the wall, that's a whole different type of thing. Because it wasn't for the fact of trying to get the money. I had a goal in my mind that like in 5 years, I was gonna be able to stop working so hard. But you put the work in on the front end to get that passive income that you want. So when I was grinding hard, when I was idolizing the grind, I was starving myself. Like I would try to go out. I was putting money back so I can go to a business conference. I was putting money back and spending money all in my business and trying to make it flip this and flip there, still paying my bills and still working my tail off because I wasn't even buying nothing. I was off social media. So it's just really for me, just going back to the values of the mindset, and then what have we not been taught and what do we not value versus what we do value. So what they see is what they really want to go out and get. And it's going to take probably a punch in the face, a scrape on the knee to kind of get there. But the question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, instead of valuing, the things that we see, we got to value the knowledge that's around us and value the intellectual properties. And that's books. Like we got people that's died and gone home and died and gone, and they left things to help us grow. I mean, the Bible is the best, what am I trying to say? It's the best self-development book. The Bible is the best self-development book, but it's so many other things and other knowledge out here that we just haven't tapped into. So we got to see the value in books. So
she said, the question says, they are both wise beyond their years. At what point did they enter into a serious relationship with God individually, and was it triggered by an event?
So
I don't think it was by an event. Yeah, for you it was.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this. So the issue was when I was growing up, it was taught to me, I grew up in the church. So I was going on Sundays, I was going on Wednesdays. I'm talking about our church bus would come to our apartment complex and just pick up me, my sister, and my brother. This is when I realized, I started to think back, and I realized that God had a plan for me. So after we would get picked up, eventually the church bus was going around the whole apartment complex and picking up all the kids in the apartment complex. And so I say that to say this, that he had a plan for us, and your steps are all ordained. But the thing was, I never truly tapped into the relationship with God. A lot of people just go to church and they feel like they doing this job or doing this service just to be there. You know what I'm saying?
And to show people that they're going, and
just to show that they're going, to show or to be a part of a pastor and think that, he is going to take them to God. But it was the relationship that I was supposed to have with God that took me to my next level, that had me wake up out of my sleep and out of my slumber. And when I say that, I mean, like, I was just spiritually dead. I was spiritually dead. And so whenever the event for me was, I got to a point where I almost lost my school. I lost my car. And a lot of people got to realize great things come out of the loss. Sometimes you need those losses. You need that failure because you learn a lot, and it's going to propel you into a whole another avenue. So, what about for you?
You missing something else. But for me, like he said, I was in the church all the time, praise dancer, up speaking, doing all these programs, doing all these events at church. But I didn't really have the relationship either. I was just, it's like, it's something that I knew I had to do because my grandma, my mama, they like, you going to church this Sunday. You going to church every Sunday. So when I got to college, I would listen to sermons and messages my parents and my grandparents would send me. And I'm just like, okay, listen to it on Sunday. Still not having a relationship. The real relationship with him didn't come, it came when we got together, when we were together, because you were starting to develop and grow more, to transform yourself. As you were transforming yourself, we started watching Transformation Church. That Transformation Church basically put, that was just like the first seed yes. that was planted into us.
Somebody dropped seeds in the chat. Drop seeds.
So everybody dropped everything. But college was basically when I started to get that relationship. But yes, there was no event for me, but when events started happening to him, we both started growing together. We got baptized when we were younger. That's another thing too. We didn't understand the purpose of baptism when we were 8 and 10 when we got baptized. So it's just like, okay, I don't even know what I'm doing this for. I just want to do it because all the older kids doing it, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. So we got baptized as a young child, and I felt like when I grew up and I understood, I'm like, I don't think parents should like force their children to get baptized so early because they don't really understand. So we both got rebaptized, even though, in the Bible it says it's one baptism, but we got rebaptized and rededicated our lives August of 2019. August of 2019, we got rebaptized, and that's when the relationship changed. But as far as the event, it was him that was having events, and that's what you was talking about. That's what I was talking. You forgot that, but you can go ahead and just go through it fast because don't draw it out.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna let them go tap into my testimony so they can truly see.
Oh yeah, the testimony on YouTube. It's on YouTube. But he was hearing from God, and then we both started on this journey together individually.
We had and I was having just so many different encounters as well after. Like a lot of people don't realize, even after you get saved, it's more battles. It's gonna be even more hardships that come to you to help you grow as well. It ain't just I got saved, so yay, I'm good. I'm in the safe zone. Got you. And so I also I just want to share this. It just popped up on my spirit. But my dad, so when I was younger in church, I would be praying. I'm talking about praying for my dad to come to church, to go to church, or to just come to church with me at least one time, because he worked so much. He didn't really have his spiritual walk in line with God. He didn't have his alignment. So I'm here today. He got baptized last year on New Year's of this year, actually.
This year.
In 2019 going into 2020, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so thankful for that, because I know that those prayers that I was doing a long time ago eventually brought him into this beautiful marriage that he's in. Now he's going to church. He's on the safety team at his church, and it was just like just seeing that. I just see something like what God is doing. Like it happens on people's own time. You just gotta keep the faith. Even when I didn't understand what prayer was, I was praying, and it's like God still he knew my heart. He understood, and a lot of people can attest to that. That a lot of my church members know that I was just so wanting my dad to be there, and now he's in a place where he's growing, and I'm just so thankful for that. But man, it's lovely. It's a lovely thing.
Our time is up. What's
awesome job, you guys.
Man, we went way over, but
you rocked it tonight. You rocked it tonight. I'm about to end the Facebook Live. You all say everybody say bye to Facebook Live, but we're gonna stay on really quick. I got some gifts to give out. They said that's awesome. They answered when you answered the question. All right, because I can't do too much of this. All right. Oh my goodness, we're done. We are doing. That was the cherry on top, the icing on the cake. You name it. It was everything. This is the time where. Oh yeah, most definitely.
Go ahead. Who taking it?
Oh.
I'm like, how we gonna?
Okay, hold on. Sis, get in there.
Okay, he's taking it. Okay,
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And that to me, you all. It's been a long journey, y'all. We started, like I said, I want to do a quick recap. If you guys have time to stay on a little bit over 8:30, just bear with me. We started with Taylor J. Banks, and she came heavy hitting with, we started emotional
with the fire.
development with our adolescence, our adolescent trauma. How has that impacted our decision making, our behaviors? Let's feel our emotions. If we mad at 1 minute and sad at the next minute, okay, feel it and get through it. Thurston, he talked about the mentality, the mental, and talked about, prayer, meditation. Get that right. We know anxiety can show up. We know it can show up in life. Depression is real. These are spirits that can attach you even when people are saying different things. And, and he showed us a presentation, and he just talked about him being a minister, being in education, and all of those things and how that shows up. Then we went into physical health, you all. And we talked about, okay, let's try to stay away from sugar, because that's that belly fat that's gonna, stick to us. We don't want that. We talked about, hey, we got virtual fitness class with Fit Faith, and how her journey of fitness really was faith inspired by God, and how she was really running from that. But God he just pulled her back, drew her back to, this is what you're supposed to do. And God will do that. Then spiritual wellness, you all. If I could give you 3 points on that he gave, because you're registered here. He said, and I'm going to end the live stream on